May I ask all of our guests to take their seats because we are about to start. Okay. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Warm welcome to all of you and thank you for accepting our invitation despite your busy schedules. Welcome to the annual IDB Group Governors Luncheon, which we always organize in your honor on the margins of the IMF World Bank annual meeting. This luncheon has become an annual tradition that we in the IDB Group have been keen on organizing. Today, like every year, is an opportunity for us to meet with IDB governors, central bank governors, our development partners, and many old and new distinguished friends. Let me just go very quickly over the program. We are aware that time is short and your excellencies have a busy schedule ahead of you, so we will try to keep the program as short as possible. We will start by the welcoming remarks of the IDB Group President, to be followed by a short video, and then our distinguished keynote speaker, and then to be followed by the lunch. After lunch, we will witness the signing of a number of financing agreements by IDB and some of our development partners. Ladies and gentlemen, for most of you who are here today, it has been exactly 1 year ago since you have first met him, here in this very room. And for many of you as IDB governors, you have met him again in the last IDB Group annual meeting in Jeddah and in different occasions as well. He has been busy since then, rolling out an ambitious 5-year plans to transform and transition the bank to a higher level, inshallah. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host and your development partner, His Excellency, President of IDB Group, Dr. Bandar Hajjar.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellency, Chairman of IDB Board of Governors, Excellencies, IDB Governors, Excellencies, Central Bank Governors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of your institution, the IDB Group, I welcome all of you today here in Washington, D.C. Also, I am pleased to welcome the many distinguished guests who have joined us today. The Chairman of IDB Board of Governors, our dear IDB Group Governors and Central Banks Governors, Her Excellency, the very distinguished keynote speaker, and our development partners, Head of International and Regional Financial Institution, Ambassadors of IDB member countries, and academic, business, and civil society leaders. These distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today's gathering is a special event to celebrate partnership within the international development community, which IDB has been keen on organizing this event on the margin of the IMF World Bank annual meetings. Since we met in this place once 1 year ago, and after the endorsement of the IDB Board of Governors of the IDB President 5 years program in our last annual meeting in Jeddah, we have been fully engaged in rolling out internal and fundamental restructuring plans which are needed to position IDB at the frontier of development and to enable IDB to be more proactive, more responsive, more adaptive, and most important, to be more in the field and therefore closer to our member countries. Moreover, we have been embarking on a new strategic initiative in many areas to help our member countries address many challenges they are facing. For example, in the area of science, technology, and innovation, we recently announced the establishment of $500 million fund to support member countries improve lives and empower communities using science and technology and innovation. The new fund, which is the only one component of an ecosystem, was announced during the first OIC summit on science, technology, and innovation that was held recently in Astana. Through this fund, we intend to introducing a new model that will integrate science, technology, and innovation component in all our projects and intervention in our member countries. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I would like to thank you again for joining us today, and it has been a pleasure and honor for me to have seen you again, and look forward to the opportunity of welcoming all of you next April, inshallah, during the 43rd of IDB Group annual meeting in Tunisia. However, before I closing, I would like to leave you with a short video on the new STI fund, and here I would like to take this opportunity to thank the senior advisor to IDB President on Science and Technology and Innovation, Dr. Hayat Sindi, for her effort to establish the roadmap of STI with a new strategic and policy framework to integrate it within the all sectors in the bank, and therefore to help our member countries to create the ecosystem of innovation capacity and entrepreneurship. And special thanks for her team for their effort on this new strategy. Once again, thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This is Ahmed. In 18 years, he will develop a cure for malaria because of what we do today. This is Rana and Yasmin. They are working on a refrigeration unit that doesn't need electricity. In 3 years, they will start to manufacture and distribute it. This is Jamal. When he is 30, he will develop a simple filter to make any water safe to drink. This is next year's chemistry intake. In 2022, they will invent a biochemical energy cell, providing near zero cost power for thousands of struggling communities. Because today, we acted together. These are the people who will go on to change the future. Because today we opened the door and chose to create a place where science, technology, and innovation can meet. Our world faces so many challenges that only science and technology can solve. We urgently need new ideas and real-life breakthroughs and applications for issues like agriculture, sanitation, disease, food security, medicine, and education. But innovation like this can only grow in the right environment, where ideas and ambitions are encouraged, and science, technology, and business expertise are brought together. And in the Muslim world, where once such answers flourished, science and technology have fallen behind. That is what we are setting out to change, together, today. The Islamic Development Bank STI Fund is all about building the supportive environment in which effective innovation can flourish. Innovation that will help us to develop the skills and expertise and encourage opportunity for all. Women, young people, the underprivileged, whose life chances are currently all too limited. Innovation that will unlock a new era of scientific and technological collaboration and partnership among our own countries and the rest of the world. With a strong and effective governance framework and regulated through internationally recognized standards, the fund is built around 5 values: ilm, seeking knowledge; ikhlas, sincerity; ihsan, excellence, adl, social justice, and amana, the trust future generations place in us to take care of our precious earth. It will take time to help small seeds grow into real solutions. But we can make it happen. Together we hold the key to open the door and unlock the power of STI and the energy of our people. Join us and help us unlock the future. Because of what we do together. Because of what we choose to do today.
Thank you. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today's keynote speaker has a distinguished record of service and achievements both at home and on the global stage. Few years back, emerging markets crowned her as the best finance minister of Asia. Forbes magazine ranked her for many years as one of the most powerful women in the world and the most powerful in her country, Indonesia. She was largely credited with strengthening Indonesia's economy, increasing investments, and steering Southeast Asia's largest economy through the 2007 financial crisis. In 2010, as most of you know, she joined the World Bank as Managing Director and the Chief Operating Officer until 2016, where she was responsible for the World Bank's operations worldwide and helped in introducing new global practices and cross-cutting solutions to the most complex development challenges. Her institution, the IDB Group, is very honored to have her amongst us as the keynote speaker, despite her very busy schedule, particularly, as all of you know, given her capacity as the chair of the IMF World Bank Development Committee. She will share Indonesia's successful experience in community-driven development. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Ibu Minister Sri Mulyani Indrawati.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, Dr. Bandar Muhammad Hajar, President of the Islamic Development Bank Group, distinguished governors, alternate governors, and executive directors of the Islamic Development Bank, esteemed guests, as well as ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Praise to the Allah, the Almighty, the most gracious and the most merciful, for only by His blessing that we are able to gather here today. I'm honored to be asked to share with you all on a topic which is very dear to my heart and also close to my own experience as a finance minister before and now finance minister 10 years ago and now becoming also finance minister again. That is the experience of Indonesia in the involvement of community in implementing development project. Many Islamic Development Bank's members countries, including Indonesia, have made significant progress in the past decade. However, we also know that many of the countries' growth has been accompanied by rising inequality and disparities, with lagging regions or group of people as not enjoying the benefit of growth. The disadvantaged group within country also cannot participate or enjoying the benefit of growth. High level of inequality can pose a threat to long-term growth by hindering social cohesion and the people's ability to invest in their skills and assets. Furthermore, heightened uncertainty in Europe area in many regions is also creating a new race for the achievement being made by many member countries. We also see the trend of the protectionism as well as economic nationalism, to name a few, is a new threat for this new optimism. In fact, this morning the IMFC meeting, the Managing Director, Christine Lagarde, is actually providing the first presentation in which the world economy is going to pick up recovery for 2018 and 19. A very, very different tone if you compare a couple of years back. So for all of us, understanding both global and domestic challenges becoming more apparent as the global community has to step up in the game in attaining not only a better growth or higher growth, but most importantly, an inclusive growth. This has been discussed many times by many global community in many different forums. So the question for all of us is how we are going to achieve a better and higher quality of growth that is inclusive enough, that can enjoy the benefit by most people in our own country. Indonesia, as a middle income country, has maintained a remarkable economic achievement despite the global environment that we are all operating, which is quite challenging, especially post-financial crisis. In the past decade, the growth rate of Indonesian economy is 5.6%. This is the third highest if you compare with other country in the G20. So what is the experience of Indonesia in trying to create a higher and better quality of growth? One which is asked by Islamic Development Bank for me to address this afternoon is the community-driven development. This is back in 1990s when Indonesia, after financial crisis, ASEAN financial crisis 1997-98, we suffer a setback in many of our development achievements. One is the poverty level increased up 23%. The growth, which is usually driven by the modern sector, also creating an inequality across region. Indonesia is a big country, an island country, 17,000 island with 3 different time zones, which is as far as Europe, from even Istanbul up to London. I think we are covering all those regions, and we have 257 population, mostly young population. So when the government of Indonesia faced with this challenge of poverty increasing because of financial crisis, as well as inequality, what we could do? I think one of the idea at that time, the trust on the government is also declining. It's because of many of the government program in alleviating poverty, sometimes compromised by the governance and capacity of the local government, especially because we have decentralized system in Indonesia. So since 2007-2014, Indonesia tried to address this issue of governance as well as capacity by empowering community, involvement of the community. The program has been called the National Program for Community Empowerment. Or in Indonesian, abbreviation is PNPM. The PNPM is the government flagship, which is community-driven based development program. Objective of the program is to improve the economic and social welfare of the poor and expanding their employment opportunity through community consultation, empowerment, and capacity building. What is the difference from this program and others government program? Basically, the community is going to discuss among themselves when they are provided by resource, and then they are going through this kind of mechanism, they are going to decide how they are going to use this resource to unlock the potential or to create or to innovate and creating a more productive activity. This is one thing which I think is a very good in providing a very, very important in strengthening the social cohesion while at the same time circumventing the institutional capacity, especially at the local government, and at the same time also creating an effective monitoring, because the resource will be discussed among community and they are going to then monitor each other. What is the activity that they are going to decide to use this resource is actually for economic production activity at the community level, up to even basic infrastructure services. So Indonesia has introduced those PNPM, and since then the poverty has declined quite robustly from what I mentioned, 23.4% after ASEAN financial crisis, now declined into only around 11%. The government is now planning to massively scale up this PNPM, we call it with the new family hope, as well as the village funds, which is a new fiscal tool transferred directly from central government to the village level. The idea is almost exactly like what we've already introduced in the PNPM, in which the community fully aware about the resources, they are making their own decision about how to use this resource for their own improvement, priority decided by community, then they implement it and monitor the activity and the result. This is one thing which is very important, because we have tripled, almost increased 3 times the resources which is directly transferred to the college, to the community directly. This design of the community-based or community-driven development program is actually built with the cooperation or support by the World Bank, and I know now that Islamic Development Bank is also joined in order for us to be able to provide support for the community development in Indonesia. As I said, Indonesia is a large country, so the poverty in an urban area is different from the poverty in rural area. The poverty in Java Island is going to be different from the poverty in Kalimantan, on Sumatra or Papua. So for us, a combination of local, specific and unique approach with the massive development program by the government is the most logical approach that we are trying to do. For 2018 budget, we are planning to increase the village fund into 3 times, that is 60 trillion from only 20 trillion in the past 2 years. The village fund is used to finance the program and activity which is decided by the village community to empower their own economic and social progress. The main objective of this village fund is to improve welfare and addressing the inequality across region and between income level. The village fund is now served as the tool to empower the local community to achieve a more inclusive growth, and has proven in supporting the high economic growth in Indonesia. But I want to give you one caveat. When you provided resources continuously to the community and especially also to the village, there is a downside risk if you are not really look at the ability to build governance. What is happening now in Indonesia, there are quite a lot of indication that at the village level, even when the community discussing about their own resource, the sign of new type of corruption is also happening. This is one thing that we should not take for granted, that the even at the level of community-based development program, we are not free from the governance problem. In fact, when I was MD CEO of the bank, one of the corruption which is actually quite shocking is also happened in the community-driven program. This is one thing that we should not take for granted, as if you put resources in the community, that it will taking care of itself. The government of Indonesia have multi-pronged approach in order to address this issue of governance. First is to provide the accountability mechanism. That is how we are going to make sure that there is an accountability mechanism which is simple enough but transparent and can be shared by the people so that they understand exactly what is the resources for and how they are going to ask the accountability, especially on the decision that they make. And then the second one, we are going to make the information technology. I'm actually glad that the Islamic Development Bank now have the Science, Technology and Innovation Initiative. We can actually introduce many policy design combining with the current technology and information technology to be able to design a much fast and effective accountability mechanism for many of the program of the government. So I will urge you all to look each other and using this technology. For example, in Indonesia, we have a WhatsApp, we have a Twitter, we have a Facebook. We can actually always easily upload and provide an information that can be shared immediately to all the stakeholders. For my last part, of course, I would like to touch the issue on the IDB rules. As one of the leading multilateral banks in the world, I believe the Islamic Development Bank must also take a much stronger role in combating the problem of poverty and inequality. Sharing prosperity is becoming a challenging issue. We support the increasing role of the Islamic Development Bank Group as a development partner to all our members. IDB should be more visible and reliable in financing tools and developing instruments, including developing knowledge that can be shared by the member country and use the convening power in order for the institution to be able to serve better, faster to the member country. I also urge the Islamic Development Bank to strengthen partnership with other multilateral development banks. As a finance minister who also a governor of several development banks, in this case, I especially want to see all development institutions to work together to address the issue of development, because the problem is big enough and the resource of each multilateral development bank is limited. That's why partnership and cooperation and coordination is going to be very critical. Of course, as the World Bank Development Chair today, I also urge you to also working very closely with the World Bank as a global institution who also focusing on poverty and shared prosperity. I also mentioned earlier that multilateral organization currently should play a much stronger role. This is especially true because the rise of nationalism, nationalistic policy, inward-looking policy is getting stronger and stronger in many countries, regardless their income level. High-income country, middle-income country, low-income country, West, East, they are all beginning more and more have a distrust on the global cooperation. And this is one of the challenges that we should prevent. Don't allow the setback of cooperation, because I firmly believe without strong cooperation, a lot of issue of development cannot be addressed. And this is especially true when the development challenge is becoming borderless. We talk about climate change, we talk about pandemic, we are talking even water, energy security, food security, they are all becoming borderless. So in this case, I would like to urge all the member countries of the Islamic Development Bank to also ask the Islamic Development Bank management to work harder in order to create more partnership and collaboration. On this special occasion, I would like to also take the opportunity to invite you for next year annual meeting in Bali 2018. The IMF World Bank annual meeting next year will be hosted by Indonesia in Bali, inshallah. And of course, because the IDB has the tradition to have the back-to-back meeting with this, so I'm sure that you are going to also be in this Islamic Development Bank meeting in Bali. This is going to be a very good timing for many countries, hopefully with a much more optimistic global economic recovery. We will use this opportunity to address more fundamentally the poverty, inequality, and creating more shared prosperity for all members of the Islamic Development Bank and global community. I believe that the good cooperation and strengthening the development at the community level is going to address both the issue of poverty, inequality, and shared prosperity. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ibu Minister. Now we will serve lunch and then we'll have the signing afterward. Enjoy. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're still having dessert, but due to the pressing commitment of most of you for the Development Committee as governors, we're going to go ahead and start the signing of agreements. And the first agreement we will start is between Senegal and IDB, and I would like to invite the President of IDB, Dr. Bandar Hajjar, and the Governor for Senegal to come on the stage. Governor for Senegal.
فين علمهم؟
ما عندنا علم بس البنك. صلاح ما صلاح سامع. I don't know. Now may I call on the Governor for Mali, please? Governor for Mali. ها جايبين علمهم معهم. طيب عندي اهو على طول. May I now call on the Governor for Guinea? Governor for Guinea.
السلام عليكم.
كم واحد؟
السلام.
عاوز اعرف الترتيب بتاع المصرف العربي والناس اللي معاه.
عندك جيني وجيني بيساو، لا مش هتنفع مع خطي، والسنغال ومالي.
غينيا،
جيني
غيني،
وجيني بيساو والسنغال ومالي.
في
بس
ليسوتو.
في الأول.
ليسوتو أول يعني.
أولا إيه، لأن ليسوتو فاينانس.
تمام. صالح نتحدى مين يخلص اول. غلبته كم مره؟
يلا.
بس مع المدير العام قال لي انه يحاول غينيا بيساو خليها اول واحد.
كيف ما انا في عندي كرسيين. اول ست كرسيين
بس هم حاول لانه غينيا بيساو هسه هم طالعين عندهم مؤتمر صحفي.
طيب بس مش دحين لما نخلص ITFC. Thank you, Mr. President. May I call now on the CEO of ITFC, member of the IDB group, and also the governor for Gambia. Gambia.
عنده احد هاني؟
ما ادري بس خليك ستاند باي. Thank you. And now we move to the section related to signing agreements by our development partners, OFID and Badia. And we will start first with a co-financing project. Co-financing project for Lesotho, Governor for Lesotho. والله الله يخليك.
الوزير حيكون في الوسط. وزير اللي زرته.
وين فين؟
موجود هناك.
نادي. هذا هو.
هو
انتوا حتساعدون في
نعم
التوقيع ها؟
نعم.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. طب شيل الاكمام.
Here. I have it. You want to keep it?
Yeah. Next one. I just want to talk to you.
هادو خذهم ذهنين شيلهم صباح المدير العام الموقع. هذا في منسك.
May I call now on the governor for Guinea-Bissau? Guinea-Bissau.
استاذ محمد الحافظ هذا الاقلام.
اوكي خلينا.
Where is Sad? خلاص. لا التوقيع May I call on the Governor for Guinea? Governor for Guinea. This. ماني شايف اصلا شايف Thank you. I will do this. If anybody who forgot an eyeglasses, we have it here. May I call on the Governor for Senegal?
الشمال رئيس بسيارة شو اللي على الشمال هون أول واحد عم
المصرف العربي للتنمية في افريقيا بديع
بس خصموا فيه انتوا بتملكوه؟
ها؟
انتوا اللي بتملكوه؟
لا بالعكس هن بس عم يستخدموا المكان تبعنا عشان يوقعوا
بس
عمول
شو
لا بس
ليبيا اصلا ليبيا؟
لا هن بيس بالسودان المصرف العربي للتنمية الافريقية بيس بالسودان
شكله انه ليبيا
مع المدير العام والمدير العام مش الرئيس.
Thank you. May I call now on the Director General for Badia and the Governor for Mali. Director General for Mali.
شكرا جزيلا. Monsieur le directeur général de la Banque malienne de solidarité, Monsieur le directeur général de la BADIA sont invités.
Je vous laisse notre plaquette.